by Riverside FM.
Welcome back to the Pine Grove Briar, where smoke curls through stories older than time, and truth hides in the corners of history, folklore, and myth. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit more recent. We're going to talk about one of the most haunting and controversial true crime stories in American history, the West Memphis Three. So light your pipe, settle in, and be ready to sit with a little discomfort. And by the way, we're burning Sir Walter Raleigh in this beautiful briar pipe that once belonged to my grandfather.
I want to say a great big thank you to the fine folks at the Gatlinburg Tobacconists, nestled right in the heart of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in the Mountain Mall on Level D. Whether you're a seasoned pipe smoker or just curious about the good leaf, Gatlinburg's got a blend for every palate. These folks know their way around the tobacco barrel. Stop by the shop if you're in the Smokies, or check them out online to bring the next mountain air to your mailbox. The Gatlinburg Tobacconists, where the smoke's always smooth and the stories are even smoother.
On May 5th, 1993, in the quiet town of West Memphis, Arkansas, 3 8-year-old boys, Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers, went missing after going for a bike ride, like many of us used to do at that age. The next day, their bodies were found in a drainage ditch in Robin Hood Hills. The crime was horrific. The boys had been bound, beaten, and mutilated. Rumors of a satanic ritual quickly overtook the town's sense of reason. A panic, not just moral, but existential, took hold. The community demanded answers, and it wanted them fast.
Sewell's Woodworks on Etsy is turning out some of the finest products and goods this side of the Mississippi. Whether you're settling down for a briar full of fine pipe tobacco, or you're looking for a gift that'll knock the socks off of anybody, you'll find it at Sewell's Woodworks on Etsy.
Enter Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, and Jessie Misskelley Jr. Teenagers, outsiders, listeners of Metallica, readers of Stephen King, wearers of black in a southern town. Damien was especially different. He was introspective, artistic, and openly interested in the occult. With little evidence but plenty of suspicion, these three were arrested. Misskelley, with a reported IQ of 72, confessed after hours and hours of interrogation, with much of that being undocumented, and during his confession implicated the others. Despite inconsistencies, contradictions, and coercion, his confession became the backbone of the prosecution. There was no physical evidence linking these three to the scene. None. But fear spoke louder than facts. Over time, as the details of the case emerged, the world began to question what really happened. Documentaries like Paradise Lost brought the trial and its inconsistencies into the light. New forensic testing in the 2000s turned up no DNA evidence tying the West Memphis Three to the murders. In fact, DNA on one of the bindings pointed to one of the victim's stepfathers. In 2011, the three men, now men, were released after 18 years behind bars via the Alford plea. Strange legal twist. They could maintain their innocence while acknowledging that prosecutors had enough to convict. freedom, but no exoneration. So, who really killed those boys in 1993? Theories abound, from disturbed transients to troubled stepfathers to the police mishandling evidence so badly that we may never know. The satanic panic, a cultural wildfire in the 80s and 90s, set the stage for, really wrongful conviction. And 3 teenage boys, already marginalized, became sacrifices to a terrified town's demand for justice. Even now, Damien Echols continues to fight for full exoneration through new DNA testing, which the Arkansas Supreme Court has allowed.
I want to say a great big thank you to our friends at Hometown Pickleball, where friends become rivals and rivals become friends again after a few volleys. Whether you're a dinker, a smasher, or still figuring out what in the world the kitchen means, Hometown Pickleball's got your paddles, nets, and local league signups covered. It's America's fastest growing sport, and now it's got a home in your backyard. Hometown Pickleball. Bring the game, bring the laughs, and maybe a little ibuprofen.
So what's new this week in the Pine Grove Briar mailbag? Our first one comes from Shelly P. in Oklahoma. Hey there, Pine Grove crew. The Judge Roy Bean episode had me cackling. Never thought I'd laugh so hard hearing about frontier justice. Can't wait to hear how you'll handle darker fare like true crime. Well, we're working that way, Shelly. Caleb D. in North Carolina said that Logs and Tide episode gave me chills. Y'all do spooky right. That's what we're aiming for, Caleb. Reverend Joe T. out of Tennessee said, your blend of humor, history, and heart always keeps me listening. I'm glad you're tackling the types of stories you are. It matters. We appreciate all y'all who wrote in. We really thank you for doing so. If you'd like to drop us a line, you can do so at pinegrovebriar@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. So we may never know the full truth of what happened in those Arkansas woods back in 1993. But the story of the West Memphis Three reminds us, truth isn't always found in the headlines or even in the courtroom. It sometimes smolders like embers waiting for breath. We appreciate you joining us for this episode of the Pine Grove Briar. If you'd like to support the Pine Grove Briar, I'll drop a link in the description. Until next time, keep your pipe lit, your powder dry, and your stories true.